This Beetlejuice has way more deaths than the first one. Beetlejuice actually tells some backstory about how he died initially and that he was a grave robber. And there's full of dead bodies. I don't even know how to count that many bodies. I don't know. From my experience, I would say a pile of dead bodies is about 40 bodies. And he even finds like, oh, what was that, a gold tooth or something like that? Alright, that fits. I guess this was like the Black Plague days. So, yeah, that's pretty funny. Beetlejuice was like a scummy, gross guy even back then. Then he met this fine-ass chick way out of his league, and then they bit the heads off of chickens, because that's how weird weddings were back in the day. And I'm not counting chicken. And there's even like a sex scene. And it's a very PG-13 sex scene. He's just rolling around in a bed. Most kids can handle that. I think when I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, that's what sex is. That's like rolling around making out. Or, come on, man, Beetlejuice take off his shirt or, you know, put her in bra and panties. But this does remind me sort of like, oh, when people say, yeah, Pete Davidson is like Beetlejuice before he died. Because, right, he pulled off like a good-looking girl and everything. That's like when Pete got with Kim Kardashian. Or Ariana Grande, or most of all of his girls. Then once he drunk it, I guess he turned around and was not feeling well, and then she's like, got you, dude. Poison. That's a fast acting poison, too. But, you know, Beetlejuice is no punk, like, oh, I'm just gonna let you poison me and everything? No. If I gotta go, you're gonna go with me. And he chopped her up to all hell. And that's why she was like in a whole bunch of pieces and everything. That's why she's really pissed off by Beetlejuice. And when Danny DeVito's like the janitor in the afterlife, she actually like put herself together after he knocked over a whole bunch of stuff. And then she's a soul sucker, so came up to him and sucked the soul out of him. And I think they explain this as that happens when you're dead. No more afterlife for you, no heaven, no hell. You just become nothing all over again. Pretty cool, like your body becomes like a snake skin of itself. And she also does this to like a dry cleaner, and Beetlejuice put this guy Bob in charge who sort of looks like him with his head shrunk, and then she came by and sucked his soul too. Bob was the first one I was like, oh no, they're getting Bob. Even though you had no lines and everything, you still felt like, oh, sweethearted Bob. Then on the other hand, one guy I did not feel bad for is the actor Jeffrey Jones played. They just went like, dude, he's a pedo, so let's kill him off in a plane crash and have a shark eat off his head, and then we see him walking around without his head the whole movie. I was like, alright, cool, perfect. But they did have a whole funeral for him. But it's like going to a funeral to somebody that's like not very well liked, like an uncle aunt or my grandpa. It's sort of like everyone's like, whatever. And the only person really sad about it is the wife. And she actually dies too by handling snakes at the grave, and I guess she paid for him to be defanged, and they weren't, and bitter, and she died too. Beetlejuice actually tricked somebody and sent them to hell, so that's like a death in the afterworld, right? But who'd he send to hell? Alright, here's the whole story to that. See, so Jenna Ortega is Lydia's daughter. She inherited the ghost seeing skills, but she doesn't know it yet, and this ghost knows that too, because that ghost is very evil, like a demon-y ghost, because he killed his parents, you see it. They stabbed him with like kitchen utensils or something like that, very cool. And so he tricked her to go into the afterlife and switches places with him. So Lydia finds out about it. She calls on Beetlejuice to come and help her out, and that's what he does. The same condition applies. He'll help her, but you have to get married. Sort of like the first one. So once he's about to try to check out, Beetlejuice catches up with them and sends that boy to hell. And you're like, oh, well, was that the main villain? Who's the main villain here? Is Beetlejuice a good guy? But then you go like, oh, after all these years, or for Lydia's help and everything, he's still crushing on her. And he's like, all right, we're going to finish that marriage that we never finished in part 1. There's another big body massacre that happens too. I guess Beetlejuice invited all these influencers to come to his wedding, and then he did their like long face, sucked inside their phone sort of trick. It's like they're trapped in their phones, and I would count that as being dead. Maybe they never get out of their phones, because even after he like blows up and gets defeated, those people don't come back to life, so they're pretty much dead too. Then they got one of the sandworms, and he actually did like a bullfighter thing. Went by him and ate that wife. And he also used this, it was like a 2-for-1 because the sandworm also ate Lydia's husband. And Beetlejuice gave him some truth serum, and this fool spilled his guts and said how he really felt, and he was her manager, but he just wanted 50% of her money rather than just 10. Everything was just left to Beetlejuice. They said his name 3 times. He blew up like a balloon and didn't die. I guess just further afterlife. This movie's crushing the box office, so with these things, we gotta get a sequel. It's gonna be Beetlejuice. You gotta say it 3 times. So yeah, of course he'll be back. Oh wait, there's like 2 more kills. Basically, Jenna Ortega gave birth to like a baby Beetlejuice, and he killed 2 nurses.